Mahala Monday it is on a Thursday morning. Good morning and thank you very much for joining. My name is Dougal, her name is Rhoda. Hello.
Good morning for the second time this morning.
Yeah, it is second time. And I can kind of get used to that on Mahala Monday just every day.
That's so true.
Baby, that's how you got to start off the day, off the week and all of that. So thank you very much for watching. We're live on YouTube and on Facebook. It is an interactive show, so we welcome your contributions, your questions. This is where, of course, you get all the information. And, of course, we make informed decisions together.
Oh, yeah.
We all start talking, and this is it. And, of course, getting us to the levels that we want to achieve all depends on the conversations we have. So please, definitely contribute and ask questions and, of course, make your comments. But, as you know, International Nelson Mandela Day is now three sleeps. Yeah, sorry, Maths and I.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, Maths and I not so, but a few sleeps away. And of course, this whole week we've been doing shows, and we had a show earlier. We've got one right now. We'll be doing two tomorrow morning as well. And it is all about how we're making a difference, creating the society we all long for, we all dream about, and of course, how we can all contribute just to make the place around us a much better and give back to our community, which is the essence, isn't it?
That is the essence. And this is why we've had the show as well, because there's a lot of institutions and a lot of companies out there that actually can't get the information, NPOs, NGOs, that actually cannot do much because of our lockdown, of, you know, our Uncle Cyril that told us that lockdown is basically being extended. And the challenge is quite real out there. And this is our opportunity where we at Mahala Monday said, you know what, here's a platform. Get your information out there. Tell us, what are you doing, you know. And, you know, Dougal, another thing that I thought of as well, a lot of these guys are doing all of this. The corporates are sponsoring, the NGOs and MPs, whoever out there is doing so much, but they don't get the recognition they actually need.
Yeah, it is so true that you say that. People are doing something.
Oh, yeah.
They are. And now, with the lockdown challenges, of course, you can't just go and join something and go to an event.
That's
because
so true.
the parameters in which we operate is different. So it is very important for you to know what there is. And by no means have we highlighted anybody in terms of importance. We just want to sort of bring different conversations to the table. And that is what it is. However, for us, I feel the conversation we're about to have is something we feel exceptionally strongly about.
Oh, yeah, totally. And especially where we're at right now with COVID hitting us for the past, 2 years?
Yeah.
You know, and the unemployment rate being what it is right now, how many people out there are actually so hungry right now?
Yeah, it is. And hunger is a big thing. I mean, just imagine when you're hungry. How do you operate? How do you function? The concern you have of where the next meal is coming from, and looking at it at those extremes. And that is sort of the subject matter today, and especially with the incidence of International Mandela Day that is on the doorstep. How can you make a contribution? Now, specifically for the program this morning, it gives us great privilege and pleasure, of course, to join us this morning, Charles Gray, which is from the Peninsula School Feeding Association, that will be joining us, and we'll be talking things all around that. And it is really just great having you here with us. So Charles, good morning. Thank you very much for joining us on Mahala Monday today.
Good morning, Rhoda. Good morning, Dougal. It's wonderful to be on Mahala Monday, and thank you very much for the opportunity. I'm delighted to be here on a cold day.
Yeah,
it is a bit of a
It is a bit of a chillo's day, but Charles, listen, thank you so much for being here today. Peninsula School Feeding Association. This is a name. Those words in conjunction is a name that we've all heard. We've all been accustomed with it. When I was at school, I used to see those letters everywhere. I saw the operation of it. We are truly aware of what they do. But how long has this been around?
Well, Dougal, we started back in 1958. The reason we were created is that the government at the time decided that there was wastage. The government had a feeding program in place in 1958, believe it or not, and then they decided to stop feeding at schools because they said the schools were wasting. There was wastage. So they just stopped the feeding. This was during the March or so. So immediately, people, there was an outcry from principals, there were outcry from teachers. The children were fainting in class, hungry. There was hunger at school. And the Rotary Club of Pardon Island, now called the Rotary Club of Table Bay, quickly stepped in and created this Peninsula School Feeding Association. And we opened our doors in March, and we immediately got stuck in and started a feeding program, a school feeding program in the Western Cape.
Wow.
Because that slogan that we just saw on the screen as well, you can't teach a hungry child, that is something that is so embedded in me.
Oh, yeah.
That is something that is so embedded in me, because I've seen it everywhere.
That is our inspiration, our absolute inspiration. That is the reason why we exist, actually, is because you can't teach a hungry child. And that's why we feed at schools, you know. So that's a vitally important inspiration for us, that slogan.
And then just looking at your schools, could you name, like, you know, you've got these different schools, obviously. Could you just give name a few, like you got your obviously early childhood and then from there?
Yeah, okay. So what happens is with our feeding program, we feed at high schools, we feed at primary schools, we feed at special needs schools, and we also feed at TVET colleges. Believe it or not, these are the colleges out there. There is hunger when you leave school and go to college.
Oh, yeah.
And we feed at early childhood development centers, as well as a few after-school care centers. We call them OVCs, safe parks. I just wanted to know, with the Peninsula School Feeding Association, we provide all the essential ingredients at each one of these schools, okay, for a weekly menu. Okay. So we provide a breakfast and lunch. So we provide all the ingredients to our schools. Okay. Now, these schools fall out of the government. The government has got the NSNP program, which is the National Schools Nutrition Program, where they provide schools with food. The schools that do not fall part of that program, we support as many as possible, depending on donations from the public. The money we receive in donations, which is my job, I'm the fundraiser of the organization, is to enable the schools that fall out of the system to receive meals on a daily basis. Now, what happens is when a school comes onto our feeding program, they apply, we assess, and we work out, okay, we usually start with 150 children at a school. And then what happens is then we say to the school, okay, you need to find somebody to prepare the food on our behalf. We will provide you the set menu, we'll provide you the training, we provide the school with all the equipment, all the catering equipment. So that's the gas stove, the pots, the spoons, the knives, the chopping blocks, all the catering equipment, as well as all the spoons and plates for the children to eat in dignity. So we provide and we also provide that school with gas. So if the school runs out of cooking gas to cook our meals, we replenish that gas. And the lady or gentleman, mostly unemployed parents who are volunteer food preparers, they are chosen by the school, because you've got to trust somebody. We can't just say we want to put Auntie Bessie into your school to cook the meals. So the school finds that person, and we pay that person a monthly salary as well. So we're empowering a monthly stipend. It's not a salary, it's a monthly stipend for the work she does at the school.
Charles, I like all of that. So in a broad spectrum, just to what you have said, once you've identified a school or the Peninsula School Feeding Association is supporting a certain school, the school then, in terms of getting the hands on board for delivering the meal, the infrastructure will be provided in terms of the equipment, the produce, and then the food that is being cooked. But it's just this person that we need would be from that area and having that sort of trustworthy face, as you say, that does this.
Absolutely.
Now, and I absolutely love this, because once again, I'm going to say this again, it is collaboration. It is somebody that is helping, it is working together. This is the essence. It is the DNA. It is the make all and be all of everything.
That is so true.
Collaboration, once again. I love it. I absolutely love it. So, I mean, obviously the numbers, because you've mentioned TV. Yes.
I just wanted to add that, we cannot do what we do without partners. So our schools are our partners. When we feed at early childhood development centres, we partner with organisations. We cannot do it on our own. We don't have kitchens. We don't have. We have to make. The only way our feeding program can happen is if we partner with organisations. Collaboration.
Oh, there we go. Collaboration. I love that.
That is basically the essence, and it is rightly as you say it is. So Charles, I mean, obviously we're looking at vast numbers here of youth and children that you support, and as you highlighted, from primary schools, we've got even TVET colleges you got on their early childhood development. It certainly is it is a lot, and the positive impact that your feeding program has, of course, on the learners who receive your daily meals is what I want to talk about. But before I touch base on that, let me just, because I just realized earlier you said you provide a menu. So you have a sort of set menu as well.
Yes, we do. We provide the ingredients for that set menu. So every day from Monday to Friday, we provide a daily breakfast, usually at 7:30.
Yes.
In the morning. The breakfast is maize meal.
Okay.
And then later on in the day, there's a daily lunch. For example, Monday they get rice and pilchards in tomato, lentils. We provide fresh fruit and vegetables every day as well.
Yeah.
And then the next day will be samp and beans. And then the next day after that is curry, soya mince and rice, and savory soya, and then pilchards. It's a very basic menu, but it meets all the nutritional requirements.
Yes, yes.
We can't provide a cordon bleu menu. You know what I'm trying to say. And you'll notice we don't provide meat as well, because many of the kitchens, there's the religious side of it, the halal issues around the meat, as well as the facilities at schools to freeze the meat and keep it fresh.
Yeah,
because they don't have those sort of freezers and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But it is a lovely set menu, and it's all nice and warm and cooked and healthy. That's the main thing. Nice, healthy meals.
And this is the important thing. Now, when we look at the positive impact of your feeding scheme and of the services that you've offered on learners who have received your daily meals, I mean, in the past, you said many years ago, people used to collapse. And I mean, that is completely understandable.
Yeah. As we said, you can't teach a hungry child. So one of the major impacts is to increase the learners' attendance and performance at school. I can remember when I was a child sitting in the classroom and I was hungry. The last person I was listening to was my teacher. I was thinking about my tummy that was grumbling, and the thought of having that sandwich that my mum packed in for me. I was fortunate, yes. But the schools here on our feeding program know that there is a nice warm cooked meal waiting for them. So our food enhances the learner's ability to learn in the classroom. As I said, increases their attendance and performance at school. It decreases their short-term hunger. Yeah. One of the most important things that our meals does, especially during this COVID-19 pandemic, it builds their immune systems. Wow. Yeah. There's a pivotal role in building immune systems, improves their concentration in the classroom. Another thing that we've seen is the dropout rate has gone down. When a school joins our feeding program, the principals have said that, they've noticed that a lot of the children see through school and don't drop out because they know they're going to get a nice warm meal. So we play our own little role in educating children. Education is a big subject, but just a small role we play. And then poverty alleviation. A lot of the parents can't afford to buy this food. So they know they can just have peace of mind that when a child goes to school, their child is going to get a nice warm breakfast and a lunch during the day. Yeah. I remember we did some after-school feeding program for a while, and the children would they'd bring their little plastic buckies, and they'd collect their after-school meal, and who would be waiting for them? The parent, the mother. She's hungry, and the child would hand over his bucket to his mother so she could also enjoy a meal. So hunger is rife out there, guys, and we just, we can't feed the world, but we feed as many school children as possible, up to nearly 30,000 kids on a daily basis. And then the other one is our income. A positive impact is that unemployed parents or unemployed people have an opportunity to do some work at a school and generate a little bit of an income preparing our meals on a daily basis.
Wow.
So I think that wraps up the impact of our school feeding program in a nutshell.
I actually just want to add on to that, Charles. I'm basically also a photographer. I've been out to some of these schools where we've done some school projects as well. And one of the schools that impacted me as well was that the principal then told me as well, and this is the reality, and I think people are not aware of this, that when they were feeding these kids just for the porridge for the morning before their school started, he said, this is the only meal they have for the day because they won't have food tonight. And this is the grim reality out there, So I want to thank you for doing what you're doing, and, hats off to you. And then just on that, so how much does it cost, to obviously feed these kids? And then, who's your sponsors? Who's the people that's actually funding you as well? Did you get that one?
Okay. Hello?
Did you hear that one, Charles?
Yes, I did. Yes. Something else I didn't mention, we also provide schools with kitchens, So if we have a donor that's interested in providing funding, we facilitate the supply of the school with a beautiful kitchen as well. We recently presented Valhalla Secondary, I think Esther River, with a nice new kitchen. And they were delighted because they were using a classroom. And now we've freed up the classroom. So now they can use the classroom to teach kids, and now they've got their own kitchen facility.
Brilliant.
That was thanks to it. Costs 495 Rand to feed a child for a year.
A year, wow.
R2.75 for a day. So that if someone gives us R2.75, that'll enable Peninsula School Feeding Association to provide a child with breakfast and lunch for a day. R2.75.
Charles,
yes.
If I may interject, could you say it exactly again as you just said it? Just repeat that sentence for me.
If somebody had to give us a donation of R2.75, that will enable us to provide a child with breakfast and lunch for a day.
Sure. R2.75.
495 Rand for an entire year.
Oh, my word.
80 days here. Remember, we don't feed during the school holiday. We do feed during the winter holidays. We partner, collaborate with the Anglican Church, we collaborate with community kitchens in the winter holidays, but our focus is Monday to Friday school feeding. And 180 days, if you work it out, 180 times R2.75 equals 495 Rand. That's what it costs. And, how do we raise that money? It's thanks to the generosity of people, Cape Townians. A lot of our donations come from individuals in Cape Town. That's people that give monthly or just give donations via our website or do an EFT into our account. We get donations from corporates, business. Business is very big. They assist us, and we recently got a nice donation from Pep stores to feed children. So the business world helps us out. Trusts, foundations, churches, clubs, mosques. Doesn't matter. And then another interesting one is schools that are more fortunate than our schools. So the Bishop's Preps, the Western Province Prep, and all those schools that have, a little bit more fortunate than the schools that we help, and they raise funds, quite a substantial amount of money. They have their own events.
Wow.
And then obviously we have our major event every year, which is Blisters for Bread.
Yeah.
That is a Peninsula School Feeding Association event, but we haven't been able to have that the last 2 years because of COVID-19.
Yeah.
But that event raises 670,000 Rand on an average per annum.
Wow.
Enabling us to feed quite a lot of children from that 670,000 rands.
Wow.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's so we rely on donations to do the work, financial donations to do the work. A lot of people say, "Oh, can we give you food?" We don't take food donations because we are able to negotiate with our suppliers to provide 2 meals at R2.75.
Yeah.
Makes sense, yeah.
For one child, So yeah, and then and our volunteers, people always say, "Oh, we'd love to volunteer for your organization." We always say to them, "I'd love to help. We'd love your help, but our volunteers are our food preparers. We have over 270 odd food preparers that prepare the food on our behalf." So what you say to people, why don't we can facilitate that you go help a school, you can go help a food preparer, prepare a meal, go help her peel the butternut, cut up the cabbage, help prepare the meal. And they love doing that. So a lot of corporate donors of ours love going to a school and assisting the food preparers with, preparing a meal for the day.
So it's quite involved because exactly to what you have said, there is, people would love to work, but also very important is if somebody could hand you a financial donation, that is critical.
Yeah, 100. I'm proud to say this, but 100% of financial donations are allocated to our feeding program.
Yeah.
There's no percentage going to my salary or operational costs. 100% of financial donations made to us go to feeding kids.
Yeah. Love it. Charles, we just got a comment or two coming in from some of our viewers. So Hubert Paul, so thank you very much for sending this along. And very important as well. And I say very important because this really just gives the essence as well. And Hubert goes on to say, hunger is not a problem. It's the opportunity. If you want to eliminate child hunger, everybody has to be involved. And this is it. It is really putting hands together. He goes on to say, a quote from Baba Amalekus, who once said, each one of us can make a difference and together we can make a change. And that is what we're speaking to. We're talking about changing. We're talking about that the difference that you make leads to a change.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because Karen not happy, you want to change. And these are important words. We sometimes say these things, but we don't really understand. There's one or two things that I want to just go back to that you've touched on. So, blisters for bread. Of course, this is a well-known initiative because you can't drive anywhere on those streets on those days because people are walking. They're all doing it. As you touched on, you haven't been able to do blisters for bread for the last while, given, of course, the constraints around COVID. When are you looking to have the next blisters of bread? Or can I have like a private blisters of bread just at my house, just walk around the house a couple of times?
We won't be having one this year. What we're doing is challenging people to host their own little walks in their communities and make a donation to Peninsula School Feeding, to do their own little blisters for bread in their own bubbles. Obviously, the whole protocols involved for COVID-19. But yeah, we will play that one by ear. I'm busy watching this whole Olympics thing taking place in Tokyo now, and I'm thinking, my goodness. Those people at the Olympics, it's become an absolute mission. And what blisters for bread is all about, it's family. It's people getting together, showing love. 13,000, sometimes 17,000 people all together, close, arm in arm, and uniting against childhood hunger. And they can't do that because of COVID. So that's the tragedy of this awful virus. But we shall, maybe next year, we just got to wait and see what happens. And we'll follow that with great interest, what happens with this virus. Hopefully we can eradicate it as soon as possible.
No, most definitely. Most definitely, we share your sentiments on that. Now, looking obviously, and as we all know, the COVID restrictions that is in place, but now we found ourselves a couple of days away from International Nelson Mandela Day. Individuals, organizations, businesses are hearing the good work. They are very aware of what the Peninsula School Feeding Association is doing. They want to contribute. We've kind of established that financial contributions will be great. And of course, given the COVID parameters as well, it makes it a little bit more difficult. What do organizations and individuals, what do I need to do if I want to contribute to you right now?
All you have to do is go online at Peninsula School Feeding Association's website, psfa.org.za. That's the best way. A lot of businesses like to, if they're interested in supporting an entire school, they can contact me, Charles, at psfa.org.za. Individuals, you can feed a child for a year for $4.95. You can actually choose as many children as you would like to feed. You could feed a child for a month for R82.50, I think it is. The best way to make a donation to the Peninsula School Feeding Association is via our website. If you have any questions, please email Charles. Email myself, Charles at psfa.org.za, and I'll be able to assist you with any of your questions, any ways you can help.
Brilliant.
You know.
And I mean, just to be very clear, I mean, of course, you're inviting people, and people can raise their, get in touch with you if they want to organize a fundraising event, you know, just so you understand that somebody's raising funds on your behalf as well. You do that, but it is very important to support this, without a doubt, Rhoda.
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah, it's you know, we couldn't survive without the support of our financial donors that have supported us. We sent out a survey to our existing donors, and I'm not joking. We got an email back from an elderly woman saying, I started giving to Peninsula School Feeding Association back in 1958 when you first started.
Wow.
To me, that is an absolute miracle, you know. It's just
Wow.
wonderful to hear stories like that.
Wow.
Since 1958, when you opened your doors to the community and you started doing this work that you guys do, I started giving. I haven't stopped giving since 1958.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
You know what?
Oh, my.
There's a couple of things now, because as we're talking, that's running through my head, and one of the first ones is, I know you can't feed a hungry child. That is a slogan I saw on notice boards all around the school. But then I also know the involvement of just the church, specifically with this organization as well, and the church that I belong to. So very aware. But now I've got a question for you, Charles, and for you, Rhoda, and for all the viewers out there. So this is what we know. You feed a child at the cost of R2.75.
Yeah.
R2.75. The cost of a day, which gives breakfast and it gives a lunch meal.
Yeah.
Every day, R2.75. Am I right, Charles?
Yes, that's
Okay.
correct.
Here's my question to you, Charles Gray, and Rhoda, and the viewers out there. What can you buy for R2.75? Because the first time you said it, I'm sitting here going, I don't know of anything that costs R2.75.
I think the penny dropped this side now, Charles.
What costs R2.75? Can somebody please tell me?
Couple of cappies.
So there we go. So we're not, Charles is not asking much.
Unbelievable.
It's unbelievable. So, you know what? This is your opportunity as well to start, like Our Lady that started in 1958, for you to start today and also look back in a few years' time and say, you know, I've been feeding this kids for $2.75, and obviously inflation goes up, but since 2021. So here's your time to start your legacy.
It certainly is. Charles, you know what? All from our side, all we can say, the Peninsula School Feeding Association has done amazing work.
Amazing work.
There's generations that need to thank you. The communities at large need to thank you. All the positivity that we have is because of organizations like yourselves.
Like yourselves.
It is heartbreaking that there's a need for an organization like you to even exist. But the amount of work that
I agree.
that you do
I agree.
is you can't even begin to measure. The one thing and the one sentiment that you touched on when we look at positive effects, and let's be honest about it and look at things and its extremes. The stress, just stress. As a grown-up, I have huge amount of stresses. You know, financial stress, traffic stress, all of these stresses. As a child, and you said it, the last person you listened to on a hungry tummy was the teacher. You said it. We all know what it's like when you are hungry. When your body tells you something else, nothing else matters.
Nothing else matters.
Now imagine a child who is, and when I say child, there is no emotional maturity or intelligence emotionally to deal with sort of those cravings. Then you are deprived from multiple things. How can you learn?
So true.
How can you develop?
Yeah.
And then we expect a society that will have positive input, that we will be productive members of our country's economy and all of that.
Yeah.
It starts right here.
Starts right here.
It starts right here. So
Absolutely. 100% starts here. Community needs to help its community. We always say, yes, thank you to the corporate sector, the trusts and foundations, but the people play a vital role in the success. And I must say one thing about the Cape Townians. All right, we do get donations from people all over South Africa and the world, from individuals. But Cape Townians support their community, and it's something I must say I'm very proud of that fact. That Kaap and us, they stand together and help when the time comes. So we're appreciative to everybody that makes a donation. We'll give you a wonderful thank you letter. We will give you your tax certificate, whatever you need to claim back on your donation. But every cent goes to feeding hungry school children.
yeah.
Wow.
And Charles, because I was going to
Lovely.
ask you that. There are organizations, obviously. Mandela Day is around the corner. They're thinking, okay, we need to do something. And you mentioned it there as well. So the organizations and businesses that like to contribute, they need to get in touch with you. And of course, you will guide them through all of those things in terms of tax certificates. But the most important thing is be involved, get involved.
Absolutely, yeah. And you can go onto our website. There's lots of ways you can help us.
Okay.
Excellent.
Perfect.
Charles, great.
Charles, that was a fabulous
From
time.
Peninsula School Feeding Association, all I can say is salute, sir, to you and the organization. That's
So
all
true.
I can say. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Charles.
so much for your
And I want
insights.
to say thank you to Mahala Monday for giving exposure to organizations like ours. And there's so many NGOs and non-profit organizations doing such wonderful work. And you've given us a platform to talk about what we do. A big thank you to you guys as well.
Oh my word.
Thank you
Making me
very much.
emotional.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Charles. And thank you very much. And that is our duty. That is what
That
we
is
must
what
do.
we
That
must
is
do.
what we must do. As much as you doing amazing work, we also need to do it. And thank you once again for saying that. And thank you for your work. We wish you immense success. We wish you all the strength and all the courage and all the best wishes from the team here, of course, accompanies you and your organization. So once again, thank you very much for joining us, Charles.
Thank you, Dougal. Bye-bye, Rhoda. Bye-bye,
Bye.
Dougal. Keep well.
See you, Charles.
Likewise. So many things he said there, Rhoda.
Oh yeah, so
There's
many.
so many things. Firstly, yes, I was going to laugh when you said the penny just dropped because R2.75 penny. Penny.
Penny.
Penny, man.
That's so true.
What can you buy for R2.75?
Yeah.
No,
and
honestly,
there
think
is
about it.
Not even
3 slices of bread?
Not even 3 slices of bread, I would say. I mean, what's the price of the sweet today? What, 50 cents or a rand?
I don't know.
So, yeah.
But yeah, R2.75. Now, think of it this way, and and I want to harp on the stress now. A child, the stress the child goes through, he's got no food. He said himself. So the child had a little porridge or something and shared with a mom.
Shared with a mom.
So if you as a family, we can't feed each other, so it is dependent for us for the school to go for the child to go to school. So at least we know one person is covered.
Covered. So true.
I'm unemployed.
Yeah.
Do we see, can we understand as a community the need? And then all of that is happening in the backdrop of COVID.
Yeah. So
With
true.
another extension on lockdown.
And another extension.
and people burning streets.
This is reality, Dougal.
And we're talking about children here,
Children, yeah.
not you and me.
No. And it's 275, guys. Come now. I mean,
275.
who's got those chains laying around, you know? You can feed a child a meal for a day.
Rhoda, it is, there are organizations out there, there are businesses out there, there are individuals there. And I'm sorry. If you are not doing anything, shame on you.
Yeah, there we go.
There are children out there. I'm a father of 2. I work hard every day so my children go to bed hungry. You can't let kids go to bed hungry.
Hungry, definitely not.
R2.75. I'm still thinking what I could buy for R2.75.
So guys, there you go. You can go to Peninsula School Feeding Association, and then you can go make the donations. So you know what? You're feeding a hungry child, and this is the reality out there. There are kids that is hungry, and you can make that difference. So for everybody out there is always asking, you know, what can I do? What, you know, how can I change? This is your opportunity to make that change.
Yeah.
Peninsula School Feeding Association, go to their website and, you know, make a donation.
As simple as that.
Simple as that.
International Nelson Mandela Day is a couple of days away. It is really a couple of days away. We all want to create a society and community that we can be proud of, but also a place that we can be happy, that is prosperous, and where we look after one another. Those are the ideals we all hold dear, and that is what this day is all about. Peninsula Food Scheme, Association.
School Feeding Association.
Do all of that.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you
you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
We've got 2 more shows tomorrow, Rhoda.
That is right, Dougal. 2 more shows. Yeah. So we will see you tomorrow. Don't forget, you must subscribe and share and hit that bell.
Yeah, you got to share. Share.
Share.
Like. Bye.
Bye.